Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Defining Discipline podcast. I'm your host, Scott. This is episode 318 as well as day 318 of my journey. At the beginning of the year, I challenged myself to run 365 days in a row, all outside, burying the elements, whatever they may bring. I also challenged myself to run 1,500 miles within this time frame. Also within this time frame, I've challenged myself to run two big races. One of those races being a 50K ultra marathon trail race. That was the Yankee Springs 50K trail race on day 156 of my journey. That was June 5th, and that was in Middleville, Michigan. I was able to finish that 31-mile race within 7 hours, 15 minutes, and 22 seconds. Now, the next race that came up within this yearly time frame was the Detroit Free Press Marathon, in which I challenged myself to run the Motor City Challenge, which entailed me running the competitive 1 mile and the competitive 5K 3.1 mile the day before the actual marathon. So, ran those first two smaller races on day 289 of my journey, and on day 290 of my journey, I got out there and ran the Detroit Free Press Marathon. That was my first officially ran marathon. We're shooting for a sub 4 hour time within that marathon, and was able just to obtain that within 3 hours, 57 minutes, and 28 seconds. And that was also another personal record for me. So, as I said earlier, we were on day 318 in a row. So clearly I was able to not only run those races, and get personal records within both of them, because that was my first ever 50K, let alone trail race, as well as this is my first officially ran marathon, and that was the best time I've ever ran, so that's also another PR for me. But like I said, this is day 318, so clearly not only were those PRs for me, but I was actually able to keep the streak alive of my run streak. So this is also another PR for me today, getting out there for a 318th day in a row. But speaking of that, let's actually break down the miles for the day and kind of get into that. So day 318, it is a Sunday. I wanted to finish the week off strong. I've been trying to get a weekly goal of 50 miles a week last week, and was shooting for it this week as well. So for the day today, day 318, got out there again today and put in 11.5 miles for the day. That put me at 49.1 miles for the week. So just short of that 50-mile mark, but that was okay because last week I went over 50, and the main goal was to hit this next one here of the monthly miles. We are now at 101.6. I wanted to break the 100-mile mark within 14 days, within 2-week period. So was able to do that. So that is another PR for me. But now with that monthly mile, let's actually talk about yearly miles after today's run, and that put me at 1,461 miles even for the year. So we're only 39 miles away from closing out the yearly mile goal of 1,500 miles. Really stoked and excited about that. But again, let's focus in on these monthly miles of 101.6, and we're going to do so because every single month I challenge myself to a 100-mile challenge, in which I donate money to a fundraiser, as well as I start a coinciding fundraiser. Donate money to a charity, in which I start a coinciding fundraiser to try to raise money for and awareness for throughout that 100-mile challenge month. So for the first 10 months of the year, was able to raise money for 10 great charities. Now we're here within the 11th month, the month of November, and we're raising money for yet another great charity. November's charity is Movember. If you'd like to find out more about this and get your donations, and you can find the link to do so to either of those on the Defining Discipline Instagram story or the Defining Discipline Facebook story, or my personal pages, Instagram or Facebook stories. Within those stories, all you do is you click on the page. It'll open up the actual page where you're able to make your donations. Keep in mind, all donations that get made go directly to this cause and fundraiser. Facebook is not taking or keeping any portion of those donations. Also, to keep in mind, I do know times are tough. Not everyone is able to or can afford to make a donation right now. And if that is the cause and you'd still like to help out, the next best thing you could do is click on that share button, because we're trying to raise awareness for these causes. And the best way to possibly do that is to get as many eyes on it as possible. And again, also, maybe if you'd like to just learn a little bit more about this month's fundraiser, Movember, you could also just click on those links, and it'll take you to the page where you can learn a little bit more as well. And like I said, maybe you can even share it from there or get your own donations in as well. Now, other than that, let's kind of get ready to get into today's actual episode. But as always, right before we do so, we are going to go over today's word of the day. And today's word of the day is grisly. Grisly means causing horror or intense fear. That is today's word of the day, grisly. Now, for today's actual episode 318, day 318, today's episode is going to be themed friendship, for a couple reasons why it is today. Because we actually had our Friendsgiving that we've been having for the past however many years. So I was able to go over and see a lot of my friends who I've had a friendship with for a majority of my life. And it's really close friendship with a lot of these guys. And it's nice to see them, because as we've gotten older, we've only became more and more distant over the years, because life happens. We all go kind of our separate ways with having jobs and different priorities. So any days where we're kind of able to get together and catch up, it's truly, truly nice. And it's kind of good to just kind of have that laugh and have those good times and make more memories with, all those guys. And it's kind of sad knowing that we're getting older and we don't get to spend as much time together. But now we're all becoming fathers and, parents in general. So as we're doing that, we're kind of starting a new generation. And not that we're going to probably force our kids to be friends, but they're going to be friends. So it kind of gives us more of an excuse to kind of still get together and maybe still get some quality time in with each other. And today was actually kind of a good example of that, having our kids all together. A lot of them, just kind of crawling around playing, and it was just kind of nice to, again, just see everybody. So just wanted to kind of talk about that in general, because that was what happened today. But on the flip side of that, friendship, it is a very, very important thing. Us as human beings, we can truly get lonely, and without having those true people within our lives who maybe understand us or we can relate to on a certain basis, things start to really, again, maybe we can get, really depressed or just feel really lost without those people within our lives. So having those friends and having friendship in general is something that is integral to having a healthy life and healthy relationships in general. So the importance of having some good friendships is very, very important. It's a top priority. So just kind of wanted to bring that out there and talk about that in general. To always obviously make friends with people who want the best for you and who are going to push you to be the best version of yourself. That is also another key element to friendship that we should all be striving for. So, we should also be pushing our friends to become the best versions of themselves as possible, which is something I should probably be doing better myself, is trying to help persuade my friends to become the best versions of themselves and vice versa. They could always help push and persuade me to do the same. So that could also be a good goal going here forward. But other than that, going to close out today's actual episode. It's getting super late. I want to try to get to bed and get another run in tomorrow before work would be nice. And try to get all of this back onto a good schedule where I'm not feeling too rushed like I had been. So, for your daily discipline today, day 318. Again, it is to go out there and think about those friendships you have and the integral the most important friendships within your life, and again, to try to make friends with those who are going to push you to be the best version of yourselves. Um, that is your daily discipline for the day today. Other than that, thank you so much for following along and listening. 318 episodes, 318 days. This is the Defining Discipline podcast. I am your host, Scott. If you guys can, please get the podcast a like, a subscribe, a follow, a share on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and whatever podcast streaming platform you've been following along and listening on so far. Other than that, like I said, guys, thank you so much. 318 episodes, 318 days. And until tomorrow, 319. Make sure you guys get your daily discipline done. Go check out this month's fundraiser, Movember. Learn a little bit more about it by clicking on the Facebook story or the Instagram story, and get your donations in, and also share it, and ask others to share it. Let's raise awareness and money for this cause here in November. Other than that, thank you guys so much. I will see you guys tomorrow for episode 319. This is 318. Again, I'm your host, Scott. This is the Defining Discipline podcast. Stay disciplined, and until tomorrow, peace out.